Hi, everybody. Eddie Vegas here, and welcome to yet another review. In fact, this is not a review so much as a sort of pre-review of Endless Space, a new, hold on to your hats, 4X multiplayer civilization-type space game. Turn-based. Yes, that's right. All that good stuff wrapped into one package, and as you're going to see, I really do like this game, and if you're too lazy to watch the whole thing, I suggest you go support the developers and go ahead and buy the alpha. It gives you access to the full game when it comes out, and it's really a lot of fun to play right now, and I'm going to try to explain why. The first thing you're going to notice, I'm not going to start a new game here, but I am going to go to the new game, is first of all the nice little music that happens. And that the layout of the UI is very simple, it's very inviting, and it's very understandable. Here we have the shape of your initial system, a number of empires, the size of the map, which has nothing to do with the amount of stars. That can be set in the advanced options, and once again the advanced options blink, blink, and here's a nice little colorful, simple, smooth, easy to understand menu that you can click on things and see planet size, whatever, resources, and you can set basically a lot of the parameters there. Same way you have access currently in the beta to 5 different races, each one with their own ship design and their own strengths and weaknesses, and you even have a little flavor text that comes out there so you can kind of understand who they are. Here's the Sophon Affinity, Isolation Shields. They already have researched already. Their scientists are plus 45% in terms of research, so these guys are the research guys. And basically everybody's got their own thing, whether it's diplomacy or war or growth or science, kind of like in Master of Orion, the first one. Cancel. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and load up a game from a reasonably early state. And I'm going to kind of show you a little bit about the map. Alright, so this is the star map, and here I currently have 2 planets colonized, Cap and 2. Here are all the other areas that I've explored, and this right here, this little wavy little line here, is a wormhole. That means I can't go there until I've researched the correct technology. So let's go ahead and go through the screens. Here's my empire map, and here I've got access to absolutely everything that I could possibly want in terms of knowing something about my empire. I got my systems over here. Here's my population. I can see how happy they are. Now here I have a hero managing this this system because it's a main system, and I'm going to explain about heroes a little bit later. Here I have my food output. And here is exactly, once again, you put the pointer over there, boom, current value, 20.7. Why? 27 from planets, plus 2 from improvement, minus 1.7 from empire, and minus 10 from food consumption. So I've got a surplus, which is good. Here, same thing. Here's my industry. This is what I use to build stuff. Here's my science, and here's exactly why I'm getting my science. And here's my money. That's called dust in this game. Here's my tax rate. I can adjust the tax rate, which is globally. And once again, I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but here, just for your tax, you have one thing to mess with. Here's my luxury resources that I've managed to get that make people happy. And here are my strategic resources that I've been able to get. And this Hyperium, if I'm not mistaken, this is useful in the construction of lasers. So that's good. Here's the construction I've got on my cities, on my cities, my planets. These are the ships in the hangar, and I can decide whether to assign a computer AI to manage this system. For the moment, I'm having fun managing the systems myself, so I don't need it. But when your empire starts getting big, and you start getting systems that you don't really care about, it's probably good. All right. So here is the research screen. Now, the research screen is, let's say, very special. Here's the first view that you're going to have of research, and research is divided into 4 different categories. Diplomacy and trading over here. This mainly has to do with relations with other empires, but it also has some really important texts that allow you to grow the size of your fleets. Here you have everything having to do with army, all the shields and stuff like that, lasers, torpedoes. We'll talk about this in a bit. This is the applied sciences. This is like kind of just everything sort of goodish for your empire, but nothing really specific. But at the same time, there are a lot of interesting texts over here. And here you have the exploration expansion. Also very important over here in this branch, you're going to get access to the bigger ship types, which is really important. Now, at the beginning, I said to myself, why would they just stick a bunch of dots on the screen like this? This really doesn't make very much sense. But actually, when you mouse over, you're going to get compact fusion reactors, which unlocks a lot of stuff that you don't really understand what it is, except for maybe colonize Arctic. And so you kind of zoom in a little bit on it. And then you start getting like little icons that sort of semi-describe what the thing is. And then you can zoom into the final thing. And when you do zoom into the final thing, you'll see that actually this thing gives you better engines because you fly between stars faster. And it allows you to colonize Arctic planets. And all of a sudden you get into this zoomed view and you start going like, well, what's this? Oh, I get to make a destroyer. Oh, that looks really good. I think I'm going to click on that. Then you start pulling the thing over, and you start looking at some of the other stuff that you can do. And improved fleet management. Now, I go like, well, what's that? +2 command points cap on Empire. That means I get like 2, I can make my fleets bigger. And what do I get here? Post-op analyticals. And then you can read exactly what this thing is going to do. Well, actually, what it does do is that it allows your hero that gets assigned to the fleet to get XP faster and go up in level faster, and we'll talk about that in a second. In short, the texts that are here are broken up into 4 different categories, and actually the things that you can research all are sort of linked together. It won't do you any good to get like super weapons over here if you don't have a bigger fleet over here. And to get a bigger fleet over here, you're going to have to at least deal with a little bit of messing with other civilizations. And so you're going to want to get some of these texts over here that allow you to unlock, for example, different diplomacy options with other empires. So the thing is going, you really have like a lot of like interesting choices here. And it's not just, gunpowder or, iron working, moving into bronze working, and let's say like basic sort of choices that you're going to be making in other 4Xs. Like, for example, you would always build X building, then Y building, or you would always go this direction, then this direction, because it just seemed like the best thing to do. Here, you're going to have really like a lot of choices like right off the bat. And I'm telling you, once you start exploring this tech tree, it really is interesting, and it seems like there's a lot of interesting choices. Okay, so let's move on. Here are my fleets over here. For the moment, I just have one fleet. Oops, what's happened there? Okay, yeah. For the moment, I just have one fleet, and I can click on it, and I can see that this is a scout ship. And when I mouse over my scout ship, I see that it has a power of 16 kinetic attack and defense. Now, I get all the information that I need to make out of this thing, and if I want to, I can click on it, and I get a breakdown of all the stuff that is attached to it. So, I also can modify this design by clicking on the investigator, and I believe I actually already have modified this design. So now I can go modify, and I have already added some ability to shoot bullets on this guy, And if I wanted to, I guess I could add some missiles, but no, I can't add any missiles because I don't have any titanium 70. So that's something where suddenly, now this is like, okay, this is really interesting because this links back to the galactic map. And you go, well, I'm going to need some of that titanium 70 then if I want to get these badass missiles. So then suddenly you get like interested in the map, and I go, well, maybe there's some titanium 70. And then you look at it and you go, well, why don't I see any titanium 70? Oh, I need to research that over here. Well, that's really interesting. So then you research it, and then pretty soon you're looking for titanium 70 because you want your ships to have missiles on them. So it really is, everything is like tying together, and I think this is really interesting, is that everything is like tying together in a kind of a logical and interesting way, and it's giving you meaningful choices, and it's fun. What can I say? It's fun. So we have that. Here is the diplomacy screen, which actually seems like one of the least well thought out screens in the game. Now, I haven't met anybody yet. There is a way to, well, anyway, this is one of the least well thought out screens in the game. And I don't necessarily like it. It looks pretty, but I don't necessarily like it, really. I think I'd say it's pretty just for the sake of being pretty, which is one of the few exceptions to the rules in this game, which basically everything looks nice, and it looks nice for a reason, whereas there it just looks nice and it doesn't really have a reason. Anyway, let's move on to the heroes. Now, the heroes, I've already hired a hero, and a hero can either be a governor in one of your systems, or it can be assigned to one of your fleets. If you assign him to one of the systems, here we can inspect the guy, and here we have a little flavor text about him, and we can see that he's really good at, this shows a hero skill with dust and science. So in fact, you just put the pointer over whatever it is you want to know, and suddenly there's the answer right there. It's just so well thought out, this UI. I just have to admit that I really love it. It's clean. It's inviting. It makes you want to click on stuff. It makes you want to put the pointer over stuff to learn about stuff. Here we have interception accuracy. Okay, and here's the kind of things that he can do. If you assign him to a fleet, he's going to have plus 12 minimum damage on weapons and plus 12 maximum damage on weapons. Good. Everything that's written out here actually goes like, yeah, well, I want that. I definitely want to put that guy in my fleet. Here I've actually chosen to make him a manager so that we can boost science, because that's what we want, is to boost science and money. You can hire more heroes and assign them to a maximum of 3, I think, at the beginning, and then eventually it goes to 5 to manage your empires for you. Actually, they don't manage your empires, but they give bonuses. So that's that. So we've kind of seen through a lot of the screens here, and movement is pretty basic. This is my scout here, and we're going to tell him to go here. So I right click, and he gets there. Oops, he's not there yet, but he will be there next turn. And when he gets there, he'll discover the planet and move on. Now, I did want to talk about one aspect of the game that I thought was really interesting. Is these cards here. And these cards is kind of a symbolic way of describing how I feel about the game. During combat, you have 3 phases of combat, and during each phase, you can play a card. So, when I first started playing the game, I just want to tell this story because I think this kind of encapsulates what's so cool about this game. Is when I first started playing the game, I looked at this first thing and I said, oh, weapon overclock, plus 40% damage. I just sort of looked at it really quick and I go, well, yeah, that's what I want, more damage. Yeah, definitely. So I started messing around with it, and it just seemed like, the cards were like, well, you play a card and the other guy plays a card. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. You don't really know. Basically, the other enemy will play a card, and if it counters your card, then you don't get the bonus, and that sort of hurts your chances in the battle. If you play the right card, you can negate what he did, and you're going to have a better chance on him. So I said, well, okay, that's kind of interesting, but, what's the point? You just play a card, and the other guy plays a card. It's like war. Like, I got a bigger card. Okay, so I win. And I pretty much stopped right there. Until I finally started looking at it, and I said, oh, wait a minute, 40% kinetic damage. Oh, hold on one second. I said, minus 20% anti-missile interception. So I get better kinetic damage, but I get less missile interception. Okay, that's interesting. So then when I saw that, I go, plus 40% kinetic damage. I'll bet I could make a ship that just had kinetic weapons like bullets and put a lot of them on there, and then also boost up his armor, and when he gets into melee range, he can unleash this card on the enemy fleet and really totally decimate him with 40% plus damage. So seeing this card and finally learning how this card worked made me suddenly think that this was a kind of a cool game, and I went ahead and designed a ship like that. I designed a ship like that, and then I actually had a reason why I would play during the melee phase, and you'll see a battle here coming up pretty soon. Why I would play a card like that during the melee phase, and I said, oh, all of a sudden that makes sense. Here I can optimize what I'm doing according to my ship design. And then I started thinking about it, and I said, wow, wait a minute, multiplayer. Once you started seeing the way the other guy played, and you could sort of do like a poker thing on him and say like, well, he thinks I'm going to be playing this card, so in fact I'm going to play this card. And I think it's going to be like really interesting for the multiplayer battles, because at that point there you've got a human thinking how he wants to play his cards and how you want to play your cards, and you can actually play cards that counter his cards while giving you a benefit by sort of outthinking the other guy. And I said, wow, now that is really cool. And the feature of playing the cards during the battles went from just some, well, I don't know, I'll just pick a card, just whatever, to this whole kind of deep, kind of interesting thing. And the entire game actually works like this. When you first start playing it, you really, or at least I didn't, you really won't understand. And you'll say, well, it's kind of cool, ships flying around, yeah, technology, cool technology, yeah, whatever. And after, messing with it for a little while, the different systems that are in place, they all sort of mesh. And I really like that a lot. I know that there's been a lot of comments saying like, well, why isn't it more like this, or why isn't it more like Imperium Galactica, or why isn't it more like this? Why can't you add like way more different kinds of elements onto your ships? Why are you just limited to 3 elements, kinetic, lasers, and missiles? But in fact, the kinetic, lasers, and missiles form a kind of a rock, paper, scissors method, and that meshes really good with the defense mechanisms of your defensive fleet. So instead of going for putting everything in the kitchen sink into the game, they've just decided to stick with a simple thing that you can understand, and but yet has depth. And I just think that's wonderful. Now I'm going to load up a game, and we're going to watch a little combat. All right, we're back, and this is a save game from a little bit later in that same match there. I've colonized 3 systems now, 3 good systems here, and we've definitely got number 5 running, and we've definitely got Outpost running. We have discovered the technology for wormholes, and we're getting ready to send our fleet into battle. So in this fleet here, I have 7 out of my 7 limits there. I've decided to put 3 Marines. Marines are good at beam, although they do have some kinetic possibility. I also have quite a bit of armor, and that's basically the front line of my fleet, and I made 4 of them. I've got 2 missile boats here, and notice that these guys have absolutely no kinetic and no beam power, but at the same time, they do have missile power, and these are my long-range bombers. And I've got 3 of these guys. So I also have on the way some invaders. Now invaders are going to be laying siege to this planet here. These guys are going to basically take over the job so that my main fleet can go ahead and destroy whoever it is they need to destroy. And I also have a colony ship heading somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure why either. Well, anyway, whatever. So let's go ahead and send this guy over here. And he's already, basically, by clicking on it, I can also have him start sieging invading the enemy star system that this fleet is orbiting. So let's go ahead and make this happen. And we'll notice that already I'm starting to basically invade, which means that my blue color is going to gradually push the green color back. And that's what my invaders are for. And let's send them over here too. Oh yeah, okay, they'll be there next turn. It's okay. And this guy, well, okay, whatever. I'm not sure why. Let's just go ahead and send him over here for now. And this way he can colonize one of these planets. Or at least take a look. I think I just sent him there by mistake. Alright, so let's switch. Next turn. And here we go. Now, notice that the blue thingy has pushed its way to the left, and that they are sending a fleet of enemy ships at me. And so basically these guys, and actually if I put my pointer over the enemy fleet that I can see now, I can see that they have a lot of beam power but no kinetic power and no missile power. And they also seem to have be really focused on shields, on deflective armor. They have no shields and no armor. So basically, this is like a deflective hull design. Basically, their statistic, their speed, their hit points, their level, all this interesting stuff about the enemy fleet. Okay, so well, anyway, we'll be seeing that in just a second. Meanwhile, I'm going to send my invaders over here, and these guys are going to not necessarily join the fleet, but they're going to start. These guys have already started invading the system, which is going to speed up the process of this blue guy. And, yeah. And we also have finished some research in inorganic biology, which has revealed siderite and adaptive glue, which can help me make a special kind of ship, a repair ship. Just because we're going to go directly to the battle, I'm just going to click on something here just to kind of give them something, because really I'm not interested in that. We have discovered siderite, and we also have a normal deposit on colonized planet 3-4. So, cool. So I have some siderite, and that's going to be good for something. I'm not sure exactly what, but I have to look it up. And that means that siderite I can use this galaxy-wide. I've also finished some construction here on 3. And so I click on 3, and here comes my planets, normally, in a second. There we go. And this guy has no exploitation, so I'm going to go ahead and click on him. And I can choose a focus for this planet. Now, if I look at the focus, I can see that this planet is really strong in science. And so I definitely want to make the most out of that science. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the planet to focus on the global tech park, which is going to give me even more science. So he's specialized. He's going to be specialized in that, and that'll be done next turn. So that's taken care of. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Well, I'm surprised that this enemy fleet did not attack me. I was pretty sure that it was going to attack me. I guess he split. All right. Let's just go ahead and see, because actually I think that they're going to show up here in just a second. There we go. Let's see. There we go. This guy's here. And who do we have here? This is a guy probably coming to reinforce. So when I click on my main fleet here, I can say, like, for example, these guys are going to go into battle with the main fleet. And I have a slight advantage, and I'm going to do manual. That way you guys can see the graphics. Okay, in this initial phase, my ships are arriving, and I'm going to go ahead and pick a card at the very beginning here. I'm going to try to mess up their weapons. So I pick that. Here comes the enemy fleet. Now I have just this, I can just play this card. The rest of it I just have to watch and see what happens. Both cards get a check, which means that there was no counter play, which means that both the weapons will be doing pretty much their average damage. That's my ships. Man, those ships look cool. I hate to say it, but that looks cool. What can I say? I basically just wanted to show this off. Alright, now we move into the meet. Oh, I forgot to pick a card. But basically, you would want to pick a card. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick a card for the ending. This way I don't forget it. I'm going to pick a repair. I doubt if I'm going to need it, because these guys are definitely taking, as we can see from up here, these guys are definitely taking like serious damage, and I'm just really pretty much okay. And we move into melee phase. And once again, we've canceled each other out, and I celebrate victory. And I even repair a little bit of my ships. Alright, so there you saw combat, and combat, like I say, it's a matter of playing the cards and watching the cool battles. Now, some people get tired of watching cool battles all the time. I personally never get tired of watching cool space battles, and I could watch those things over and over and over again. Call me stupid, I don't care. You know what, I think I'm pretty much going to stop there. Final impression is that they haven't gone for the chuck all the kitchen sink and everything else into the design of this game. The design of this game is really kind of rock, paper, scissor-ish, but at the same time, I really feel strongly that this game's offering you meaningful choices. There's never a point in the game where you've got your new colony, and you're going to, first of all, you're going to make the granary, and then you're going to make the barracks, and then you're going to make the temple. As you know, because most of those choices are kind of like locked in, and you just feel like you're just kind of going through the motions. Here, I think they really do make an effort to offer you meaningful choices on what you want to do with your planets, like right off the bat, and it just gets better from there. And that is a result of tight design, not just throwing the kitchen sink in or listening to your fans and what your fans think they should do. This game stands on its own two legs. It is being exactly what it wants to be, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's okay. I personally love the heck out of this game, and like I say, final recommendation, buy it. This is Eddie Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.